I just finished running 4 days of workshops with businesses doing anywhere between $250,000 and $20 million in revenue. And what I want to share with you is the 4 lies that are keeping them stuck. So if you're new to my channel, my name's Layla Hormozi. By the age of 28, I reached a net worth of $100 million. Sold my businesses, started acquisition.com, which I'm now the CEO of, where we try to make real business education available to everybody. So the first lie keeping you stuck is that your market is too small. So I had this woman who came up to me at this workshop and she's like, listen, I've got a weight loss business doing like $100,000 a month and we're only in European countries. I'm not able to get past $100,000 a month. I think the issue is my market. This is something I hear from a ton of business owners because anytime a business gets stuck and they can't grow, the number one thing that inexperienced business owners go to is they say, it's gotta be my market. It's taking control from yourself and it's giving it away. A lot of people just use it as a cop-out. Oftentimes people say, hey, my market's too small, when in reality, there's one of 3 things that it usually is. Okay, 1, you lack the skill of knowing how to market to find your customer. So if you're not good at speaking to your ideal customer, at knowing what platform they're on, at knowing how to target them, then it's going to feel like there are none of them. It's not that there's none of them, it's that you don't know how to find them. The second piece is that they lack sales and packaging ability to actually get their ideal customers to say yes. So this would be if you can find the ideal customers, but then you're like, listen, everyone's saying no, I think it's a shitty market. Is it a shitty market or do you have a shitty price point with shitty packaging for your customer, right? And so what that looks like is, again, you're getting people through the top of funnel, but they're not converting on the sale, whether it be they hit a page or they talk to a salesperson. And then the third piece is that your customers are churning way faster than you want them to, meaning you're losing people at a faster rate than you're gaining people. I gave her this frame and I walked her through it for herself. So it turns out she was issue number 2. Okay, so she had the wrong pricing and packaging to facilitate a sale for a customer that had come in through her funnel. So let me explain. Her product, the entire funnel, the ads, everything, the copy, it all would lead you to believe that it was a low-cost product. It had no air of exclusivity, of scarcity. It didn't talk about being premium. It was positioned, even the graphics looked like a low-cost product, but then when people got on the phone with the salesperson, it was $8,000. So she looks like every other low-cost weight loss blueprint out there, right? Which might be like 30 bucks a month, if even. And then when they get on the phone with somebody, it's an $8,000 sale. They had no payment plans, they had no financing, and it was a 20-minute phone call. So she has 2 options at this point. Either she changes her marketing or she changes her sales or conversion process. And so in this case, I suggested she change her marketing. Why did I suggest that? Because I do think that scaling a very low cost offer is going to be much harder for this person and takes a higher level of skill than just changing the marketing slightly to call out somebody with more purchasing power. So what we did was we just tried to mirror the pricing in the messaging. We made it exclusive. We called out what type of people we're looking for, what character traits do they embody, what are they looking for, what types of jobs do they have, right? And so instead of looking for just women in general who want to lose weight, we started looking for, when she explained what type of woman she wants, executive women who have careers, who are unable to get in shape. And those women happen to have $8,000. And so let's make our ads speak to them. So here's the thing. If you can relate to that problem, you have to do the work. I would suggest right now, if you're watching this and you're like, I have totally tapped out my market, go fucking Google how big your market is. Like seriously, go Google it, because most people haven't even taken the time to Google their total market size. And then the end of the day, what you have to ask yourself is this a market problem or is it a skill deficit? And if you're a new business owner, and if this is the first time you've done it and you've never scaled a business this big before, it is likely a skill deficit. Is it top of funnel? Is it conversion? Or is it bottom of funnel? I would say narrow in on which piece it is and then determine what you need to adjust to make sure that you can get the throughput you need. Something worth considering before you start a business is like, is this market growing or declining? If you're talking about, okay, I'm in a growing market, but then you're saying, I think it's too small, but you're only doing like 100 grand a month, the likelihood that that's true is very low. It's probably that you have a skill deficit. A declining market, hard to fight against. It's gonna be hard to market, sell, convert, no matter what, unless you have a very superior product and positioning and price point. The market size is less relevant until you get, multiple 8 figures, if not more. The second lie that many are told is that your service cannot scale. So I met this guy and he had an SEO business. So his delivery was SEO marketing. And as he's telling me, he's basically saying he's gonna change his whole business because he can't scale it. I was like, dude, do you think that the product is the issue or the fact that you lack the ability to train your team? And he was like, I do think maybe it's that. I was like, have you even tried or like put any effort into learning how to train a team? The answer was no. So then we walked through his employee value proposition, which is essentially the offer that he gives to his employees to work at his business, right? So basically what this guy was doing was he was paying as low as possible and asking for the skills of somebody who's paid top of market, and also not providing growth opportunities, mentorship, many benefits at all. And so basically his offer was shit. So we adjusted 3 things. 1, pay, which because he's a small business, we made it a low base with a high variable, meaning they can still get their annual OTE to be where it needs to be market rate, but it's flexible based on performance. And so for a smaller business that is worried about cash flow but needs high performers, I suggest do a low base with a high variable. The second is that he actually did have benefits, but he didn't have full coverage. And so we looked at the difference between full coverage benefits and what he currently had, and it made absolute complete sense to switch. So then we added that in because it turns out that the best people that he has on his team all have families. They're of the age where they have families, and so having full coverage is very important to them. And the third thing we did is we created a 3-step growth plan, because essentially what's happening is that when people come into his business, there's no vision for where they go with their career. We put together basically like these are the next 3 steps to go from a SEO marketer to a senior level to a VP of, so that we could paint the career path for the people coming in. So what this caused me to reflect on is that a lot of people, when something isn't working, the automatic response is I should change it. But the reality is it might not be working because you don't know how to work it. It's like if you take a 14-year-old and you put them in a car and nobody's taught them what the gas does, what the brake does, and what the steering wheel does. And then they say it doesn't work and they're just hitting it, honking the horn, not knowing why it's not driving. It's the same thing happens with business. People are like, it's not working. And you're like, you're just pulling the wrong lever. And so for him, he was trying to change his entire product just due to the fact that he didn't know how to attract top talent. I do not want that for you. So you have to ask yourself, what would have to happen for this to scale? What skills would I need to acquire for me to have to scale this system, to scale this company, to scale this delivery? And then you gotta go find those skills. That's how a business grows. You grow as the founder by collecting those skills over time, and then you confront those problems head on, trying it for the first time. And I think a lot of people avoid it because like, I haven't done that before. That sounds really hard. I've never had to do that in my business. You're always, if you're growing a business, going to be coming up against new problems that you've never had before, but you can't change your whole business because of it. Third lie is that you can't duplicate yourself, okay? So I had this woman that I was talking to, and she essentially has 2 very interesting cosmetic dentistry offices. And basically within those offices, she sells anywhere between a package that's like on the low end, $10,000, on the high end, like $60,000 in terms of redoing someone's, what are they called, veneers. Her locations were killing it. One of the locations almost $2 million a year in profit, which like from a single location, dentist office is insane. But she said, she's like, hey, I'm actually gonna franchise because I just can't scale this. And I was like, can't scale this? Why? She's like, oh, I just can't get anyone trained to sell like I do. Like nobody can do it, just nobody can close the packages like me. So instead I'm just gonna franchise. The issue was not that this product is too hard to sell. The issue is that she didn't know how to train people. And so when I asked her, I said, how do you train somebody? She did not have an answer. She actually doesn't know how to train people. So she was like, I just tell them what I say. And so I walked her through the framework of basically how to train somebody, because the belief that somebody else cannot do what you do in your business is only that of small business owners. I just want to be very clear. It is only from people who have small businesses. Nobody with a big business is like, oh yeah, only me can do it. It's like, they're like, no, there's thousands of us for a reason. Like we have to have more people who can do it. The reality is that a lot of people are very good at doing business, but they're not good at teaching people how to do business. And in order to grow your business, you have to get good at teaching people how. It's just not YouTube, it's teaching your team. It's very simple how to train somebody. If you want it in 3 steps, just do this, okay? First, do it and have them watch you do it. Simple as shit. Second is do it and have them write down how you do it. So they're watching you again, and now they're writing down what you're doing. And then the third is that you're going to have them do it based on what they wrote down. So they follow the instructions they wrote. And then at the end, you're gonna say, would you edit those instructions? Did you think that those were comprehensive? And then you're going to have them self-edit those instructions for the next time that they go to do it. So what this might look like is if you have a sales rep like she did, the sales rep's gonna watch her sell. Then the sales rep is gonna watch her sell and make the script while she sells. Then the sales rep is gonna sell in front of her using the script that she built based off of what she did. And then you just repeat. That's how you teach somebody something. And I would say repeat it as many times as you need to to hone in that skill for that person. But that is the fastest way to train somebody, and it doesn't take hours and hours of your time, because this way is actually most beneficial, because for someone to learn quickly, if they're given instructions, they are actually going to learn less than if they make the instructions themselves. And here's the thing, if you have the belief that you cannot duplicate yourself in your business right now, understand that your business will never be a durable business that can sell or that can run without you. And so you don't want that belief. That belief does not serve you in any way. You don't want to be a slave to your business. You want to be a business owner. I think it's taking a step back and asking yourself, like, realistically, like, how hard have you tried to replace yourself? And the reality is, like, most people haven't even tried. Like, they really haven't. Or they've tried once, it didn't work because guess what? They didn't know how to do it, and they never tried again. And so don't fall into that trap, because those are the people that stay stuck forever. Those are the people you see at a conference 2017, 2018, 2019, doing the same shit with the same problem. The fourth lie you've been told is that you can't fire that asshole employee. So I had a guy who said, hey, basically, I need to figure out how to scale my company, but I can't fire this guy. He doesn't give me any context. But if he brings in these people he needs, that guy's gonna get really mad because those people have to get paid more than him. And so this guy is basically saying, he's essentially holding the owner hostage by saying, like, if you bring these other people in, pay me more, otherwise I will leave. And so the guy's question to me was like, how would you get those people to come in and stay, given the fact that this guy's gonna wanna get paid more than them again? And I just said, let's chunk up for a second. Why the fuck is this guy on your team? And he's like, well, he just has so much tacit knowledge and he drives so much revenue for the business, and like there's just no way that the business can function without him. And this is a really typical belief of people that are starting off in business, which is that you cannot fire that asshole. And the thing is like, I'm not gonna say that I don't fall prey to it even at the size I'm at, because you can have some people and it's like, they're great for a year or two, and then it gets to this point, you're like, what is going on? And they might become that asshole, right? And then you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I can't fire them, all these things rely on them. And here's the thing, your brain's making up all these reasons why you shouldn't, because it's afraid. The reality is that if you don't fire that asshole, then you set the example for everybody else of what is acceptable. In those moments, that is where you shape your culture of your business. If you have any interest in having an enjoyable place for yourself or others to work, you cannot keep people on the team who do that, because you train everybody else that that is acceptable, and that's what we do here. And so the frame I took with him is I said, what if you do nothing and you don't fire the guy? What happens in 5 years? Will you retain good teammates if every person quits because of him? Will you grow the business if this one person holds all this tacit knowledge and won't help train anybody? Will you genuinely be proud of yourself and show up like a leader if you're acting like a coward? Here's the thing. It's always costly in the short term to fire somebody, but it is much more costly in the long run to have a dysfunctional business due to one person. I've never, in 8 years, I have fired people that I was like, there's no way this person, and they do. I can give you an example. You know, we start our software company, the guy that built the whole thing got rid of him the day before. I thought everything was gonna explode, and everything was fine. It was a little bit of a shit show for like a week or two, but like, we were fine, and here we are. I think there are areas for you to improve as a leader in learning that you have to protect your culture at all costs. At the end of the day, it's not that you can't fire that asshole employee, it's that you're too scared. I'm more scared, personally, of my business not growing for the next 5 years than I would be scared of what happens if that person leaves. And you just have to ask yourself, which one are you more scared of? So if you want to mitigate, I would say, the effect of firing that asshole, I'm gonna make a list of all their stuff they're doing, and then who each of those responsibilities can go to in the interim. So yes, the whole team's gonna have more work, but it's for the better of the culture, so people are happy to take it on. And I think a lot of times too, people say, and this guy said to me, he's like, well, I would have to do it if he's not here. And I was like, yeah, that's what it means to be a CEO. What happens when Layla gets rid of an executive? Somebody underneath me in my leadership team. You guys see me on YouTube, but like, I'll be running that department too. I've done that so many times, but I will always do that, and I will always pay that price because I know how important it is to maintain the culture in the long run.